Good morning, Craddock Eagles. Students, staff, please stand and place your right hand over your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for our Eagle Swag Pledge. Please repeat after me. I will soar safely in everything I do. I will work together respectfully. I will accept responsibility for my actions. I will allow my teachers to guide me towards excellence. Eagle Swag is what I do. You may be seated.
We're back. Well, it's Monday night. A new week has begun. I turn on my TV for some pigskin fun. I see a Super Bowl season here on ABC. The biggest game each week is their specialty. I gotta get ready, make everything right. 'Cause Monday night football's coming on tonight. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? We're ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Hey, this is rockin' random Hank. Ready to get the good time started. We've got the teams on the field and we turned up the lights. All my rowdy friends are back for Monday night time.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, usually on Mondays, this is when we'd be reviewing a new theatrical release with Stephanie Cook. But today, she's here to tell us about another fascinating story and how it inspired a Hampton Roads show summer series about everyone's favorite place, home sweet home. And this one is not just any home. And Stephanie was so excited when we got started with this series, and
everybody's been mocking me about it.
But you know, it is pretty cool, but you definitely have a passion for this stuff.
I do. I love old stuff. I minored in history in college, and I just love it. And Hampton Roads is so full of history.
Right.
So inspired by the New York Times bestseller Empty Mansions, and it's written by an NBC reporter, Bill Dedman, and Paul Clark Newell Jr. It tells a story of Huguette Clark and her family, and that is an amazing story. It's a whole copper fortune that she had, and all of her houses, she had different houses, and what happens to those houses, and they were frozen in time, these houses. That's when we saw these photos of Bella's Gardo, a home of the grandest proportions on a beachfront hillside in Santa Barbara, California. It really is an American castle, and it's frozen in time since the early 50s, yet it's not abandoned. They hired caretakers to take care of the home and everything in it. First class condition, just like the photos that you see here. And the deeper we got into the story of this house, the more we wondered if there were any empty mansions in Hampton Roads. So this is the story of the Hill House in Portsmouth in our brand new summer series, Historic Homes.
We're entering the formal parlor of the historic Hill House in Portsmouth, and everything in this room has been left exactly as it was when its last occupants lived here.
Yes, and that was 1963.
Wow, but the history of this house actually goes back much further than
Correct.
that.
This house was originally built circa 1825. The first permanent occupants were the Hill brothers, and they married two Collins sisters, which were part of Old Town also. And the one brother had 5 girls and 1 boy, and those occupants stayed in the house. None of them married. The last sister passed away in 1963, as we said earlier, and what happened was, at that point in time, that's whenever the house was given to the Portsmouth Historical Association, and all of its contents are exactly the way the family had left. It is 4 floors, and the less formal guests would have been greeted downstairs in the English basement part of the house. And when you walk into the first room, which is, we call it the flop room, which we nowadays we walk into our living rooms and just flop down onto our sofa. That's basically what they would do. That was a less formal part of the house. Then the dining room was downstairs also, and that led also back into the detached kitchen. Then if you walk upstairs to the second floor, which are the 2 parlors connected here, where the more formal guests would have been greeted, you knew if you were important, this is where you would have been greeted. They had 4 presidents that actually visited this home. The first president was Polk, then Buchanan, Fillmore, and Tyler visited the home. This is the parlors they would have been greeted in, and probably maybe had some tea, had some socializing going on with the men, and actually just came here to relax and visit. Then we also walk into the back to the room above the kitchen, and that actually was Grandma Collins' bedroom. Then you walk up to the 3rd floor bedrooms, and that's where the 2 brothers and the 2 sisters would have first lived. Then you walk up to the 4th floor, and that is where the children would have slept.
All right, so you mentioned the kitchen and how they used to be, I guess, a separate part of the home that wasn't even attached, and later on it was attached. Tell me about the evolution of the kitchen.
Absolutely. The evolution of the house is most evident in the kitchen. And what you will see is you will see in the back of the kitchen where they actually had a fireplace where they would have cooked their food. And then in front of that fireplace currently right now is a U.S. Army range cast iron stove. And then to the right of that you will see a 1950s electric stove along with a GE electric refrigerator. Also, it has Portsmouth's first electric dishwasher. When you walk into this house, it's like the family went out on a Sunday stroll but never returned back to the house. It's very unique because you don't have many of those homes in the United States where everything in it, down to their clothes hanging in their armoires, are original.
All homes have a story to tell, and this one definitely has years and years of history. Now, how can people come down and learn more about the house and get a feel for it exactly as it was left from 1963?
We are located at 221 North Street in Old Town Portsmouth.
Okay.
We also have tours every Wednesday from 12 to 4, and we're also found on Facebook. So those are many options if you want to become part of this history and come check it out.
All right, sounds great. Thank you for giving me this great tour of this beautiful home. This is the Hill House. You know, I will say, walking into that house, and everything really has been preserved and left as it was. There is kind of that feeling like I'm in someone's house.
It is.
Where I was a little unsettled, as it's 4 floors, and everything is so old.
It is. It really is. And that was the thing that I found fascinating, because I went, our interns are working on this, so shout out to Jacob and Elise. They're doing the whole summer series. They researched it. They found the house. I went and did a scouting afternoon session with some of the people there, and I was just fascinated by it. It really does look, like he said, like they went out for a stroll. And part of that is because they moved to Virginia Beach in the 50s, and they kept that house to come back to visit and things like that. And as the sisters, or the 5 sisters and the 1 brother, and as they began to pass away, it got down to the last 2 sisters, and they were in their 80s, and they met with the Historical Association and decided to leave it to the Historical Association, and that's why it looks like that. So when the last sister died in '63, that's why. And one more thing real quick that I want to make sure we mention is, one of the things I found fascinating about was the flower pantry, which I didn't even know what that was, a flower closet kind of thing. And they had a huge affinity for horticulture.
Right,
and
the
they
2
had
sisters especially.
international certificates and prizes that they've won. Those are all cups and certificates and things like that in the prize closet that they took home from interns international flower shows, brought them back here to Virginia Beach and Portsmouth, and were able to, share that with us, and we can see it.
All right, so if you want to get a closer look, you can visit the Hill House in Old Town Portsmouth. It's at 221 North Street. Give them a call, 393-0241, hillhousemuseum.org. And if you'd like to read the inspiration for this series, pick up a copy of Empty Mansions by Bill Dedman.